Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast here to tell you about Michelob Ultra Courtside. It's getting fans closer to the NBA with a chance to win prizes like courtside seats, a trip to All-Star Weekend, and much more. Check it out at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access, Courtside 24-25 sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 and up. Begins on October 1st, 2024, ends July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
So, now that you're a professional broadcaster, do you think you can do this podcast in one take?
Nah. I'm not that good.
Last time on the Work-Wife Balance podcast, it all kicked off.
I can believe it because I've lived every day.
I've lived every single day of Theo's life.
My life has altered around him.
Every day has felt like a year. You're my...
Husband manager. No,
Hus manager. We joke, don't we, that you are my manager?
Yeah, but I don't ever get a cut of any money.
You just get my love.
Great.
This is really important as well. We're going to get a 240-litre blue-lidded wheelie bin instead of those crappy plastic sacks that we use for the recycling.
That was the news.
Right, get on with it.
So it happened. It finally happened. The reason we had a little bit of time off was because you have been doing too much work.
Like loads.
And unexpectedly...
I'm the breadwinner at the minute.
Yeah, it's great. I'm really enjoying this.
You're like a house husband, aren't you?
I could definitely get used to this.
You could do house husbands of Epping.
Does that mean I can just look after Theo all day?
Sorry, can we just rewind a minute? What did you literally just say to me about 10 minutes in the bedroom?
A whole new
We don't have time for that.
A whole new podcast. No, what it is he's been sent home from nursery today because he's apparently not very well.
Apparently.
But I've looked at him and he's very well.
I mean, he was bouncing on the trampoline just a minute ago.
So you're going to work and I have an unexpected, delightful day of looking after Theo once again.
Yes, and you also said, excuse me, but in the diary, there's 4 days where I have to look after Theo because you're working 4 days in a row.
It's because of the bank holiday situation.
Well, if you like being a house husband...
Yeah, maybe I don't actually. The reason why that you have unexpectedly been working loads is because you got called in to finally do one of your dream jobs, which is to present the actual main news on the big telly.
On the BBC News channel, people.
Here's a clip.
This is me being serious. Listen to this.
Live from London, this is BBC News. Investigators recover the data recorders from London, the American Airlines plane that collided. Investigators recover the data recorders from the American Airlines plane that collided with an Army helicopter.
Whole half hour.
Yeah.
It always sounds weird when people say that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A whole half
hour.
Without any mistakes.
Without a slip up.
Sort of. I'll talk about that. There's only one. But why can't you do this podcast in one take?
Because I just know you'll tidy it all up.
I know, that's the problem.
You'll just, we've already made about 60 mistakes already.
I'm leaving this one in.
About 60 mistakes already.
So, for those who want the inside scoop, what actually happened? How did you get to make your debut, as the Daily Mail called it?
I love it.
Did
you read that?
Well,
it was a write-up.
It says, so this is the Daily Mail.
It looks as if I paid someone to do it, but they literally just did it off their own back.
Meet the rising star of BBC News. Wow. Presenter Leigh Milner earns rave reviews as TV viewers
where are these rave reviews?
Join the army of fans already wowed by her behind-the-scenes insights on life in telly as a working mother. And also they mentioned the podcast in this article, which is hilarious. So here we are.
It was very kind of said newspaper to do that right.
Ben Endley.
Thank you, Ben Endley. I owe you my career. No, seriously, it was a really nice write-up and I was mega proud how it came about. So for people, little refresher. Me and Chris both work for BBC News. You work in radio, don't you, Chris?
Sometimes.
On
Not at the moment.
Well, no, you're unemployed basically at the moment. But who do you normally work for?
World Service, Radio 2, Radio 3, some of them.
Yeah, so you'll hear him either reading the news or presenting, depending on which day. And I work in telly. Local and national, but on this day I was working what you call an overnight. So you start at 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. But bearing in mind that same day I had travelled all the way to Lincoln, which is about 2 hours away from where we live, to give a talk at my old uni, which was a delight. Saw my old court
professors.
No, where all the shiz went down.
Oh, you mean
Court 5.
your accommodation?
Yes. Oh, that brought back memories. That's another episode. And then I drove all the way back and then went to work. But they said to me, hey, we have a presenter in the United States at the moment, and we're coming live from where an aeroplane unfortunately crashed. And it got to about 12 o'clock, midnight, and the presenter, bless her, was doing a fantastic job, but she was freezing her tits off. So she said, is there anyone back at base who can present the last hour? And I was like...
Well, you were kind of on standby.
I was on standby.
There was a suspicion that this might happen.
Or it might fall down.
Yeah, or the line.
Yeah, the
line, yeah.
And I was like, hello, me, this is my moment. I was like, yeah, playing it cool, like, yeah, sure, that's no problem, yeah. Literally ran to the toilet. I was like, yes, this is my moment, don't f*** it up. I went into the main studio, Studio C, and sat down, took 3 deep breaths and thought, don't mess this one up, Leigh. And I did it for a full half hour.
I was asleep because I was very tired as well, and I'd had a whole day of daddy daycare.
You did.
And I woke up at 5 a.m, as you do, to about 10 phone calls and 20 text messages saying, I've done it, I've presented it. And I thought,
I didn't mess it up.
I thought, oh shit, I should have somehow caught the messages.
Silly.
I've watched it back now.
You have.
And it was good. You did a good job.
Yeah, but go on.
But what do you, there's no but.
There is a but.
Well,
there is a but.
Usually we do this feature at the end of the episode, but which is Leigh's funny words that she's made up or funny phrases. But you did. There's the only thing that you said which was really funny, which I think I can use a clip of.
I didn't even think the producers knew this.
So,
maybe they did, but they were being kind.
There's the word oligarch, which is like a kind of high-powered businessman, and
I would like to know how many people actually know that word. By the way,
well, you had to read it, but because it is a word that let's say that you haven't come across very often before.
Who calls people an oligarch? It sounds like some sort of herb.
You called him an oligarch.
Well,
I enjoyed.
I saw it and I gave it my best attempt.
And a group of UK MPs is urging the country's tax authority to investigate sanctioned Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich.
Yeah,
it was towards the back end of the bulletin. Nobody was watching then.
Yeah, I watched it all. But people probably had dropped off. You like it when people fall asleep, don't you, to you reading the news?
Well, I saw my good friend whilst in Lincoln. Actually, that's another thing I did that day. I called and stopped and saw my good friend Naomi, who's just had a little baby boy, and she was telling me how he struggles to sleep and have naps in the day, and I was holding him.
On the BBC News.
I was holding him. Within 2 minutes of me talking, he'd fallen asleep.
Oh.
So maybe my voice just sends people to sleep. Maybe that's why people haven't got past episode 1 yet of this podcast.
Our first episode is the most popular, and then it really drops off after that. People can't make it. That's why they're only 20 minutes long, because people can't get through more than that.
Send us an email. workwifebalancepod@gmail.com.
Anyway, I've been busy signing autographs.
You mean trying to
get some more work from it, basically. No, it got 1.3 million views on Twitter. That's pretty cool. Good. And even Eamon Holmes dropped me a little DM saying, "Well done." Wow. I've made it, mate.
Big time.
You know what?
Now, what's funny?
I'm just going to hang up my headphones now. I'm done.
You weren't going to say this, so I'm glad you've dropped Eamon Holmes' name here, because what happened was that he sent you a really lovely message saying,
really nice.
"Well done,
yeah,
congratulations," something like that.
Yeah.
And
along with other celebs, by the way.
And Leigh kept going, "Eamon Holmes,
Eamon Holmes,
Eamon Holmes,
oh my God,
Eamon Holmes."
I made it.
And I was like, "Stop saying Eamon Holmes, Eamon Holmes."
And other people.
Do you want to drop some more names?
No, I've done now. I might just spread this out. Just keep it rolling, across the podcast.
So I want to talk about. So the Daily Mail article is also quite fun because it's very positive, which I'm very happy about.
Stunned.
And but there's a line in it though. This is my favourite line. The best line of the article is it says the presenter,
me,
35.
Yeah, well, I could have got away with 34, but okay.
Is married to another BBC star.
Here he goes.
Chris Barrow, a musician and radio presenter.
That's made your day, hasn't it? So hang on.
Another BBC star.
You're already a star. I'm just a rising star.
Well, I did think it says I'm a star and you're a rising star.
I'm not there yet.
With an army of fans.
Where's your army of fans, mate?
Well, yeah.
I don't know where mine is, to be honest, but...
And then it quotes, hilariously, someone has obviously listened back to some of the episodes of this podcast.
Well, it's the reporter, isn't it?
And then it quotes lots of stuff that we've talked
That's
about
awesome.
before.
I'm just pleased you listened to the podcast then.
Another one download.
Yes!
So anyway, there's been a lot of love, hasn't there?
Yeah.
On Twitter, there's been...
Loads of love.
X. There's been loads of... Basically, you and I have looked through, and I would say it's 95%, maybe more than that. Congratulations, well done, smashing it, living your best life, OMG.
Live, laugh, love.
Do you remember me from university? I'm your best friend, blah.
Yeah. But really good, really nice. And you know what? I really, really do appreciate those comments because it's a big moment. And
But
feels good.
More interestingly, not all of the comments are positive.
We love these, don't we?
So I've taken a few screenshots of a few of the more critical comments about your presenting debut.
Okay.
And I just want to see what you think.
So these are the negative, the rather negative comments.
Well, so some of them are Twitter, and some of them are on the Daily Mail comments page.
Oh right, okay.
We'll start with Jim Newman on
Jim.
Twitter, who, in response to your life achievement, simply says "idiot." So,
well, Jim. What could I say to that?
Michael Leigh also has some comments for you. He says, "Well done. You can read from an auto cue." Ugh, eye roll.
Well, it's been my ambition to read from an auto cue
for all your life.
For all my life.
And Henry adds on to that, harder than it looks, though, mate. So Henry's got your back in the comments.
Yes, Henry. Yes.
Let's dive into some of the more personal comments here. This is from the Daily Mail website.
Oh, great.
There are always some great comments.
I love this.
Someone called Jackson5 says,
great name.
No thanks to you. Oh. And then someone called Smith says, selfie girl. Oh.
I mean, I am known as Queen Selfie. He knows me too well already.
Give me strength. So there's a lot of
give me strength.
And then other comments. These are just, I'm just running through the highlights.
All right, okay.
GM2000 says, wow, woman with kid has a job.
I mean, it is hard to believe, isn't it?
That's really a second job then, isn't it? Because the child is one job.
Yes.
And then the TV is another job.
So I'm doing pretty well so far.
Charles says, a rising media star. Sure.
I like the sarcasm.
So I think I need a bit of a bigger response to this one. Master78 says, why people stick their tongue out when they're taking their own picture is beyond me. It just looks pathetic.
Pathetic?
You are pathetic, according to Master78.
Well, I'll remember that next time I'm sitting in front of the big screen.
Just have a little voice in the back of your head that just says,
don't stick your tongue out.
Don't stick your tongue out. But you didn't do it on there.
No, this is a very old photo, isn't it? Actually, from this podcast.
They've dug through some of your old
classics.
Old classic photos.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't take selfies anymore because obviously I'm so
such
famous.
A big star.
I get my own photographer, which is you.
It's another job I have. Well done. Husband takes pictures.
Oh, I enjoyed them. That was fun.
No, there's way more.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, can I have just a few more?
Mick just weighs in on your lifetime achievement. Undeserved.
Well, everyone's entitled to their opinions.
just undeserved.
I mean, he's a bit harsh.
You had at one of your old schools though, so there are a couple of nice comments. Someone says, "Why didn't you go back to your old school and change the minds of children who currently think the same as you did? That as someone from a council estate, you couldn't make it in the BBC."
Ah, well, that's interesting because my old school, Outward Grange Academy, now used to be Outward Grange School, has actually contacted me, and I think I might be off to Wakefield to go
shaky wakey
to go see the kids there. Because that'll be awesome. Because this is quite interesting. A lot of people as well said on Twitter, why does it matter that you're from a council estate? Because I think I put my post something like it
people might not know that you grew up on a council estate in Wakefield at all about you based on how you sound. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's an assumption.
Yeah, the tweet says I think it's something like, as a kid who grew up in the council estate, never in all my years did I think I'd make it on to read the national news or something like that. Yeah. What I was trying to say is that growing up, no, I did. That was never kind of put in front of me as a career, really.
The aspiration wasn't there.
No, I don't think so. I don't think people where I grew up ever thought being on television was achievable. I maybe that was just me. But when my teacher came to me and said, Leigh, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a teacher? Do you want to be a shopkeeper? Do you want to be a shop manager? Do you want to be a PE teacher? There's nothing wrong with all of those careers, by the way. Fantastic.
You were going to be a PE
I was going to be a
teacher.
PE teacher.
Yeah.
But they never said, how about, why don't you be a politician? Why don't you be the next Prime Minister? Why don't you read the news on on BBC One?
It was like a narrow view.
Yeah. Now, I'd hope that things have changed over time, but even my mum was quite surprised when I said I wanted to work in journalism. In fact, she shouted at my dad and said, she's never read a newspaper in her life! Which is factually correct.
To be fair, you had never read a newspaper in your life at that stage in your career.
No, but to be a journalist, you just got to, talk the talk.
Catherine says, my daughter goes to Outward.
No way.
And also comes from a deprived area. I'll be showing her this post tomorrow. I'll show the head. Hopefully they'll get you in, etc., etc.
That's amazing.
Nice,
that was kind of maybe the aim of my tweet then, because I think if more kids growing up, I wouldn't say deprived areas, I'd say maybe like areas where...
Because I know Leeds was your nearest city, but there wasn't really an obvious route to getting into something like being in the media.
Everything back then, especially back then, everything happened in London. Now we've got Salford now, Media City in Salford, which is fantastic. And I know a lot of colleagues who work on BBC Breakfast who are from the north. But it's not just media, it's other things like getting into politics, getting into lots of different kind of careers that I want to encourage kids from places like Wakefield who are maybe thinking, I couldn't do that. You bloody can, because I did.
I've actually found your tweet, and it also, I know this is nitpicking, but there should be an extra space in it. But anyway, it says, as a kid from a council estate, never in my wildest dreams did I think I would make it as a national newsreader, but I did it today and made my debut presenting on the BBC News Channel. So that's what you...
Yeah, and a lot of people I come across in the media have gone to private schools.
Like
haven't
me.
they? Yes. And they did get extra tutoring, or they did get extra help, or a lot of them know people already in the media.
Yeah.
I mean, you worked very hard yourself, didn't you? I mean,
it's almost like that. Like, at my school, it was like the expectation at my school was that you would go to university. It was a given that you go to university, and it was a given that you would go on to work in a field that you'd spent a long time studying. It was kind of a given that you were aiming for jobs that were like well paid.
So that's different.
Yeah.
Because I was the first in my family to go to university. And
well, so was I.
It was more like just get a job rather than a career.
But my school was like, essentially, because I was put into that situation, if you weren't going into university, you were weird.
Really?
You were the odd one out.
I'm the opposite way.
Yeah, you were.
How bizarre.
It's like almost like a culture.
That must have been a lot of pressure.
But you don't know any different, do you? I didn't know any different. I want to read a message from someone called Joanne on Twitter, who has been following you and me.
I love Joanne.
For a very long time. She says, Leigh is brilliant. It's been amazing. Lovely watching you both grow in the industry. Since that day I saw you at Market Raisin and Jess Glynn. Do you remember that?
Best days ever at BBC Lincolnshire.
Joanne was listening to Radio Lincolnshire, and we both turned up at this local festival, essentially, with Jess Glynn, and we bumped into her.
Yeah, we raved away.
Really cool.
It was great.
And we danced
some of my best years were at BBC Lincolnshire as a young reporter. But no, in all seriousness, it was a big day for me. I've been working. It's been a long journey, hasn't it, Chris, for me to get to that point. It still is a long journey, because it doesn't mean I'm going to get any more shifts doing it, but that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm also wanting to not just present news, but present entertainment. I know you want to as well. We both do, don't we?
That's why we're doing this.
And you're a long time working, but we enjoy it, and that's what it's all about, just having fun along the way.
Anyway, back to the comments. Wolfie says, my mother had 2 jobs while bringing me up and my sisters during the 70s and early 80s. Stop reporting as if Milner's some kind of heroine.
Well, I am a heroine, and your mum is a superwoman.
I was going to say, your mum, where's this going?
No, your mum is a superwoman. Never forget that.
Tony says, I've always considered Leigh too shouty at Look East.
I mean, what? Turn your speakers down.
Oh, this is a good one as well. This is my favourite one.
Here we go.
I don't know if this is from me or somebody else. Mr. TM says, she wears far too much makeup. Makeup is to enhance what you have, not to give you a new face.
I thought that was exactly what it was for, because that day nobody wanted to see my real face. It was tired.
Well, it was 1 a.m, so
it was 1 a.m.
enough.
I was shattered. So thank the Lord for makeup.
Don't forget, you can subscribe on Twitter, Insta, and send us an email. workwifebalancepod@gmail.com. gmail.com.
I mean,
So,
wow,
yeah,
that
there
was
we
a
go.
roller coaster, to be honest. I
How did you
enjoyed
find
that.
the
I
live
enjoyed that.
You know, like feedback sessions that we might have gotten in the past doing broadcasting?
Yes.
How did you find your feedback?
I actually really enjoyed it, to be honest. I learned a lot. I learned that I definitely wear makeup because I would have got more hate with just my face the way it was.
Oh, that's true.
But thank you for commenting.
Thanks for your
I
feedback.
really appreciate it. Keep commenting, please, and keep viewing. Because it's on 1.3 million, which means it is officially... My brain isn't working today.
Viral, is that what you're trying to say?
Viral, thank you.
Well
Because you've
done.
got a lot of editing to do in this. This is why it's taken so long for me to make it.
Yeah, if only you could string a sentence together, you might have made it on the news quicker.
Sleep last night, all right? Theo is apparently, in quotation marks, poorly.
He's having a nap now. This is why
Why is he
we're
having
recording
that? I'd
this
love to have a
podcast.
nap. I've got to go to work in a minute.
Go and earn me some money. I want a new guitar.
No, we're not having any more guitars. We are not having any more guitars. You can drop that idea.
That's all from BBC News.
Are you tired of seeing your teen or young adult struggle on a path that clearly isn't the right fit? Is your teenager confused about which direction to take after high school? The future of work is changing rapidly, and our kids need to know all of the options available after high school so they're empowered to make the choice that is best for them. In each episode, we explore the latest trends that are shaping the opportunities of today and tomorrow. I'm your host, Betsy Jewell, and this is the High School Hamster Wheel Podcast.